to Bishvat, New Year for, basically, New Year for the trees, for the Ilanot. And I want you guys to understand this is basically the transition period between the winter and the spring. The transition period between the spring. There's also, by the way, the time that there's a time of renewal, a time of like rebirth, a time of renaissance. This is the, actually Tu B'Shvat was the day that the Knesset was reestablished. It was inaugurated on Tu B'Shvat in 1949. And what we are here right now is that the Jewish people have a way of celebrating what they call rebirth or renewal. And there's actually 3 holidays that we celebrate, 3 ways that we recognize the rebirth that comes in spring, okay? Which is basically like redemption. Rebirth, redemption, coming up and seeing the light again. The latest one is Tu B'Nisan, right? Pesach, okay? The second one is Tu B'Adar, Purim, and the third one is Tu B'Shvat. And each of these 3 guys is basically a level of sensitivity to rebirth. How sensitive are you to the rebirth of the nation? How sensitive are you to the rebirth of the world? Tu B'Nisan, right, is Pesach. What is Pesach? You have revealed miracles. You have nature breaking. You have Kriyat Yam Suf. You have the Makot. You have the plagues. God's hand in history is taking place and you can see it in front of your eyes. Some people, in order to see rebirth, need to see it in front of their eyes. That's Pesach. But if you can go back a little further into the winter, before the spring, you get to Tu B'Adar, right? Which is Purim. What's Purim? It's also rebirth. It's also redemption. But it's a kind of hidden redemption, right? The Hashem doesn't appear in all of the Megillat Esther. Esther, Milashon Hester. That it was like a hidden kind of redemption. But if you go back a little bit further, and this is what's important to us, if you go back a little further into the winter, the real rebirth is Tu B'Shvat. And what event are we celebrating on Tu B'Shvat? What happened on Tu B'Shvat? The sages say all that happened was basically the trees stopped drinking the water from last year and started drinking the water from this year, under the earth. In other words, there are some people who are so sensitive to the change and to rebirth and to renewal, right? This hidden kind of renewal that they need to celebrate already those hidden subtle movements under the earth, and they already recognize that this is the beginning of the spring. And that's what I would like to see with Atid. I'd like to see with you guys, and I think that you're capable of it. And that's what we're going to be trying to do. We're going to be trying to see kind of those subtle movements that are happening under the surface. Maybe not all the big things that are happening, which we also have to keep our eye on, but we want to be sensitive to the subtle movements that are happening underneath the earth. And we want to stop drinking from the water of last year. It's also symbolic that we're sitting here with all these figures and faces, some of which I was telling Yehuda before, maybe we should be covering up, but that's a different story. They were all really great men in Israel and women in Israel, and they all played their role and they all played their place. But these are the waters of last year. And we have to start to be able to drink the waters of next year. We can't keep recycling old ideas, and we can't keep recycling old problems and bringing old solutions to old problems that aren't even our problems anymore. We have to be able to know what are the new waters, what are the new solutions, what are the new problems we have, and we have to confront them and face them really and be honest about it. And that's kind of what we're going to be doing here. We want people to be honest about it and to confront really what the problems are and come up with real solutions. That's drinking the new water, and that's what I expect from this group. And I will say maybe one more thing just before we do the bracha for this. On Tu B'Shvat, what do we do? How many of you ate dried fruits? Raise your hand. I want you to understand something, guys. Dried fruits. Why do we eat dried fruits? We're sitting in Yerushalayim, we're eating dried fruits. Why do we eat dried fruits? Our ancestors, generations ago, wanted to eat the fruits of the land of Israel. But they couldn't. Why couldn't they eat the fruits of the land of Israel? Because they were far away and it took time to get the fruits and they didn't see them, and they'd never seen a date in their life in Poland or wherever they might have been. So what they do, they had dried fruits to remember what we used to be, to remember where we used to be and where we're coming from. I just want to point out the irony of the fact that we're sitting in Yerushalayim, okay? What should we be eating, really? We should be eating the fresh fruits of the land. And that's kind of like a change in mentality. A change in mentality that we're here. I'm not saying to forget the things that happened in the past. We have to remember them. But we also have to recognize where we are today. We're at a time where our culture, our civilization that went into exile and went into wandering across the world for 2,000 years and became compact and was put into like a can of beans to be taken around all over the world so it wouldn't be ruined. Something mobile, maybe a religion. We've come back here to open up the can of beans. We're hoping it's not a can of worms, but it isn't. And that's what we're here for to do. We're opening up the can and we want to eat the real fruits and drink the real waters